Jamie Carragher has said he will apologise again after a video emerged appearing to show the former Liverpool defender spitting towards a football fan and his daughter. The video was filmed after Manchester United's 2-1 victory over Liverpool. A Sky Sports spokesperson has said it's unacceptable behaviour and we will be addressing it with Jamie. In a statement released just a few moments ago, Sky said Sky takes this matter extremely seriously and strongly condemns Jamie's actions. We have made that clear to him in person today and suspended him from his duties. It falls well below the standards we expect of our people. And Jamie joins me in the studio now. Hello to you, Jamie. Just before we talk, let's have a look at the footage of this incident.
Jamie Carragher there, look. Carragher there, look. Jamie! 2-1. 2-1. 2-1, mate. Yeah. Unlucky Jamie, lad. 2-1, lad. Jamie Carragher spat on my daughter. Nice. Nice, very nice, Jamie Carragher.
So, Jamie, I'm recoiling watching that. It is disgusting. How do you feel when you see it back?
Exactly the same. You can't obviously condone that behaviour no matter what, in any way, shape or form, no matter where you are, who you're representing. Obviously, I've let Sky Sports down, family, and the most important people really who were probably mostly affected by it are the family involved, and especially the young 14-year-old daughter.
Well, why did you do it?
A moment of madness, really, that it is difficult for me to explain. Watching those clips back, it feels like almost like an out-of-body thing, where it's just that moment of madness for 4 or 5 seconds, and no matter what the circumstances for anyone, you can't ever behave like that. That is just unacceptable.
And you describe it as a moment of madness, but you were a former professional footballer. You were a professional footballer for years. You should have been used to banter far worse than this, and you just ignore it and carry on.
Well, to be honest, that is, again, where you're actually thinking to yourself, why did you react like that? Because that's part of being a public figure or someone at times, you know, different things get said, but you don't react like that. That's the only time I've reacted like that, but the only time I ever react again like that. So again, I just have no excuse, and as I said, it's just devastating for the family involved, and also today for my own family, but that's down to my actions that's brought that on.
And tell me about the family. You called them after the incident. Tell me about that call.
Well, yes, I was. I called the family. Obviously, they were upset and disappointed last night.
Did you speak to the 14-year-old girl? Yes,
and that is my biggest sort of regret. There's lots of regrets of what's happened, but certainly the biggest one is for the 14-year-old girl to be sort of caught in the middle of this, of my altercation with the father, and that is something that probably devastates me a little bit more than anything else, really, that a young girl who wasn't involved in anything, really, has now become embroiled in this. And
but it doesn't matter who it was, does it? There's no excuse for spitting at anybody.
No, of course. Yeah, I'm not saying that, but what I mean is the fact that it is a young girl feels maybe slightly worse to me. Listen, spitting at someone, no matter who.
If it was your daughter?
Well, I'm in that position. I've got a daughter exactly the same age as that, and if someone had done that, it's difficult for me to find the words the way I would react or what I would say to that person if I ever, you know, bumped into them or something, because the way that father sees his daughter, the way I see my daughter. But that is me. It is my biggest regret, of course. All of it is getting involved in that type of situation. But again, all I can do right now is sort of apologise as much as I possibly can, because obviously I can't go back, and I've done that with the family. Hopefully, you know, they accept that, and I'd like to obviously apologise again to them if possible.
And what happens now? We've had the statement from Sky. You've had discussions today, so what happens for you now?
Well, it remains to be seen. All I would say is that is obviously Sky's decision, not my decision.
Do you think you deserve to keep your job?
Well, again, that's not my decision.
But from your point of view, do you think that after those actions you deserve to be there on Monday Night Football, to be there as a face of the broadcaster, a face of football, as a role model? Do you deserve that position?
Well, what I would say is there's no doubt what I have done on Saturday after the game is disgusting. I apologise for it. I'm getting vilified, and rightly so, because if someone in that game had done that I was commentating on the Manchester United-Liverpool game, I'd have vilified them for the next few days. But what I would hope, not just for Sky, but for the public who have known me for possibly almost 25 years in the public eye since I started playing for Liverpool, is that 5 seconds of madness will not sort of take over everything of what I've done now. Some people may like me or may not like me even before this incident, but hopefully going forward I can show the real me, because I don't feel that is a real representation of me. And as I said, hopefully whether it be Sky or the general public will look at the 20 odd years, and I've made mistakes in those 25 years, but the mistake I've made today is a huge one. I'm well aware of that.
Have you offered your resignation or considered it?
I haven't offered that. No, I'm just speaking to obviously people at Sky, and we're working out what's the best way to go forward for me and Sky. But they've made it be known there. Obviously we just read the statement that they're very disappointed, and understandably so. I've brought shame on the name of Sky Sports, the broadcaster.
And the game of football, and so much is being done to try and improve the image of football, and your actions have brought the game into disrepute.
I agree. Yes, it has. And you said before about role models. I think footballers, people in the job I do, anyone in a public figure is a role model, whether you like it or not. And people do look up to us and look at our actions. So the world that we live in now with social media, a lot of young people will have seen this clip as well. So I'm a
mum of 3, Jamie, and if one of my children, my 5-year-old, came home and spat, I'd be absolutely horrified. And you're a grown man.
Well, I'd be horrified with my own children. And what I've done now is, if I'd done a 5 or 6 my own mother and father, the way they brought me up would be the same. As I said, it was difficult to explain. The moment of madness, 4 or 5 seconds where I've lost it, basically. And I've made a huge mistake, and I apologise for that. I wish I could go back and change it. Obviously, that's not the case. All I can do now is obviously speak to you. Spoke to the family last night, and hopefully moving forward I can speak to the family again and just apologise as much as I can and behave in the right way.
And what about your own kids? What have they said to you about it?
Well, disappointed, obviously. A little bit upset, but...
You are highly paid. You're in a position of power. That brings responsibility with it. What kind of message do you think you have sent out, and how can you make amends for that?
A poor message of not just about being in the game or football. It's a poor message for everyone out there, man, woman, or children. It's the lowest of the low. I think whenever I was brought up as a kid, spitting was that, and I've never done it before. I can assure you I'll never do it again. But right now, the only thing I can do, as I said, is come in here, apologise, and try and get back to the person that I know I am.
What can you say to people watching who you have let down, not least of all the family involved in this, but your fans, people who have looked up to you, people who have seen you as a role model? What do you say to them?
Well, I apologise, because I know that will put a lot of even my supporters, families and friends in a very difficult position. But the most important people I'd like to apologise to is the family involved, really. They've actually now been dragged into this media storm by myself because of my action, which I'm sure will not be nice for them, especially the 14-year-old girl. So for me, the people who know me or look up to me, as you mentioned, that's for me to sort out, and just hopefully I can get the chance again to maybe apologise or meet up face to face with the family and show how sorry I really am.
I just want to bring in some tweets now. Of course, there's been a lot of reaction since this footage emerged. Vinnie Jones said, spitting at 14-year-olds through a window. He's presenting on TV. For Christ's sake, he's supposed to be one of the top men. You can't condone that whatsoever. It is filth. It is absolute filth. Joey Barton, who's been at the centre of a number of controversies himself, has said, it's absolute madness. You just can't do that in any fashion. If Jamie is that annoyed, he should just keep his window up or just tell him to mind his own business. It's disappointing because he's a good pundit, but you just can't condone that. And the former Liverpool player, David Thompson, has said, I've known Jamie Carragher for 30 years, and I can tell you now that incident is completely out of character for him. Fair play for phoning the guy and his daughter up and apologising. He's only human at the end of the day, and the frustration has got the better of him. The frustration clearly did get the better of you, Jamie, but there are no excuses, as you yourself has said. And I'll ask you again, do you think that you deserve to keep your job?
Well, again, listen, it doesn't matter whether I say yes or no. That is obviously down to the powers above. Again, I would go back to hopefully...
Can you hold your head up high and still sit there as the face of the game?
Well, listen, hopefully I can show people over these next days or weeks the real me. And as I said before, hopefully one moment of madness will not cloud the judgment of what people have of me, whether that was good or bad. But of course, this is a bad stain on me, my character, my career, if you like. And I mean, the big thing that I'm really disappointed is obviously the daughter. There was, I certainly didn't want that to happen or get involved. My frustration and what I did, which was an absolute disgrace, was with the father, and I really do. I'm
still struggling to understand why you were so frustrated, because when you listen to that clip, Jamie, it's just light-hearted banter, isn't it? 2-1, mate.
This is the difficult bit for me, because I don't want to sort of in some way give a reason, because I don't want people to think I'm giving an excuse. And it happened 2 or 3 times, but I've had that plenty of times.
As you know with Joey Barton, just wind the window up, just get on with it.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's just, you get that, that's part of being a public figure, and I've never reacted like that before when I've had that. So I cannot explain the reason in those 4 or 5 seconds why I reacted like that. It's never happened before. It won't happen again. This whole, obviously, incident that I've dragged this family into is obviously been devastating for them and devastating for, obviously, close family around myself, and it's all come from me and my actions. And again, there's not a lot more I can add to it than actually improve my behaviour going forward and trying to apologise again to the family and people watching at home.
Before we end it, I also have to talk about the driving. You are so busy arguing with the other driver in the car, who also is using his mobile phone, I have to say, while driving. You're not looking at the road. He's filming you. I mean, the consequences of this could have been far worse than your reputation, couldn't they?
Yes, you're right, yeah, it could have been. And that's something that, no matter how bad today has been for everyone, the family, Sky Sports, myself, it could have been a lot worse. When you think of what this was on, obviously it wasn't in the street, it was on busy traffic coming out of a football ground, so probably very lucky people.
OK, Jamie Carragher, thank you for talking to us this afternoon.